Oh, it's like I'm such a night owl. I will come home from work like at 5 o'clock, 5:30, stay awake just long enough to like shove something down my throat and just knock out. I can't stay awake until like 9 or 10 o'clock at night to go to sleep like a regular person. I'll sleep till like 2 in the morning, or I'll sleep till like 11:30 sometimes, and just sit in bed all night. Anyway, with that being said, I thought, you know what? Something happened last night. I was watching They Live, and it was like an epiphany moment I had where I really sat there and I watched the film and I realized how much of an awesome kick-ass movie this is. And I was like, you know, I've got to talk to my people about this because it was always a movie that was just in the back of my head. And I was like, yeah, it's a John Carpenter flick, it's a good flick, but I finally sat down and I watched this and I've enjoyed it like I've never enjoyed it before. Before we get into this review, I got something I do want to bring up. I never plug people on my channel or you know, say I need you to go check this person out, and I do that for one main reason. Number one, I don't like to specifically say, hey, go watch this person because I need you to do that so then they can help me out. Because I think you guys read between the lines on a lot of that stuff a lot. Not that there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with plugging people and saying, go check this person out, blah, 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 or go check this person out because either they are helping me out for some reason. I've got a great friend in my life that I'm plugging out. I'm not really plugging. I want you guys to see this. His username and the video link will be in the description of this video. Lucky Tattooing. This is the singer of my band, Dead by Dawn, which we just sent our for those of you who are interested, we just sent off the songs for mastering. So the EP is just about done. And I'll let you guys know about that. Very proud of that, and worked very hard on it. It's going to be very good. Real quick story. Jeremy is a guy that I met when he was trying to get a band started, and lo and behold, a couple days after we agreed to get together, he was like, wait a minute, don't you like horror stuff? And I was like, just a little. And long story short, you know, he is a brother from another mother, basically. It's crazy to actually, where I live, to find somebody that likes horror movies is it's insane. And he is unapologetically a horror fanatic like I am, which is awesome. And the video which you see above with these pops, he has a really neat, it wasn't a big collection, but it was very neat. It was very horror icons in his house, and he, you know, I was always a guy, like, I don't know if I don't like taking stuff out of the box because I'm lazy or I really do think it looks better, but you know, these pops, I was thinking to myself, you know, these just look better out. So I was like, I'm gonna open mine up and give them a new form of life in the collection. And long story short, you know, I was telling him, I was like, dude, you inspire me with these pops. These things are pretty cool. So I've got he's got a channel. He went and did a haul today, and he just, when Jeremy does something, he does it 110%. So he came home, he was telling me today, he's like, I just got all these pops, and he showed me, and I was like, wow, this is incredible. And he has a fascinating horror collection. I'm going to tell you this, guys. He has a haunted house. Like, I'm not kidding. He bought a haunted house. It's going to be incredible. I get to hang out. I got to hang out at a haunted house. How's this for you people out there that like horror movies? I got to hang out at a haunted house all night. Just bizarre. I have to tell you guys stories from that one day. You know, right now it's in the works. It's not open yet, so I don't want to disclose, you know, what's in the rooms and stuff like that. Once it opens, maybe we could be a little more open about it. But and of course it's up to his discretion. Okay, so to wrap this up, I am gonna ask you guys, if you want to, it would mean a lot to me to check out his channel. Give him a look, because I'm telling you, the guy is going to have, he's got great horror stuff, and his collection is always going to look very professional and nice. It's going to be very cool. So y'all check him out. Okay, so let's really talk about this movie for a second. So like I said, the other night, I wake up, I get home, Sydney is like, you need to stay awake, you're about to pass out. And I'm like, oh, no problem, I'm good. Pass out. I wake up about 11:30. I'm like, well, I guess I'm going to try to go back to bed. I watched this movie. And the thing about They Live that really got me that I wasn't... it's like I watched it for the first time, really seeing it. The beautiful thing about this movie is that, first off, the music is very bluesy. And it's very different for John Carpenter, but it fit this movie very well. The humor is what I saw in it this time that really had me just dying laughing. It's really not a horror movie. It's really not a horror movie. So that's what I took from it this time. I always thought about this as a horror movie. To me, this is really a sci-fi action movie blended in with comedy. Comedy that comes out of the situations, I think, the same way that in the same vein that Return of the Living Dead does. Very, very natural, not forced, not comedy where it's ta-ta, nothing like that. Just comedy out of the situations. And I found myself just laughing my ass off at the small things. One of the things I like a lot is, I forget the character's name. It was the black gentleman in the movie, the main character, where Roddy is chasing him in the streets. He goes, "Put the damn glasses on," and he goes, "Look, you crazy mother." And you always you expect him to say, when somebody usually says "you mother," you know what's coming after it, but he doesn't say it. He catches himself and he's just like, "Look, you crazy mother," and that always makes me laugh. The fight was hilarious. The fight was so hilarious when he ends up breaking his own windshield, and Roddy goes from straight pissed off to, "You need to put these damn glasses on," to laughing his ass off. There's a lot of great small moments in this movie, and I think that's what makes this so good. The scene is not... it seems like when John was making this movie, he wasn't like, okay, this scene is going to be this huge setup for this huge comedic line. It was small little bits and pieces that seemed very organic that made this movie work. This is one of the toughest kind of movies to make, I think. I'm not a movie maker by any means. I mean, I do fun little short movies and I understand a little bit of editing, but to have comedic elements come out of situations that aren't shot comedic, and it's just natural, and it's played off ear and stuff, seems like it's one of the most difficult things to do. And I can think of two movies genuinely like that do it 100% perfectly. That's Return of the Living Dead, and that's They Live. I really think so. Do you guys agree with me on that? Do you see the movie that way? You gotta understand, too, people interpret movies different ways. Some people can see They Live as a very literal piece in society, and they take it at that. And some people might see it as a full-fledged action movie, and some people might see it as a full-fledged comedy. I see this as in the same exact vein as what Return of the Living Dead is, and to me, it was a light bulb moment. Like, I get it now. I get what this movie is, and this has got to be one of my favorite movies now. This movie was so enjoyable. I want to watch it again. I want to watch this again tonight, and I just watched it yesterday. And it's so sad that Roddy passed, and watching this, it was a little painful because he was always as a child. Even now, I loved Roddy. Thought he was always a genuine person and just a funny guy. He gave his life for entertainment, and it was great to see him. It's great to see him in They Live, in a movie that lasts as long as it did and still continues to last. So They Live is a movie it was so beautiful. I was able to watch it last night, like I said, and I completely understood. In my perspective, I completely understood it now, and it's so enjoyable. And like I said, I want to watch this again and again and again. So tell me what you guys think about They Live. How do you interpret this movie? Not necessarily, well, do you like this movie? Do you think it was good? How did you interpret it? Are you seeing the movie the way I see it, or do you see it in a more serious light, or do you see it as whatever? How do you see this movie? I'm very interested to know that specifically. So with that being said, this is Christian Hannah Horror. They Live. Love this movie. That trick-or-treat mask looks really cool with that alien face. So maybe one day we'll look at getting one of those for the horror room. We're pretty jam-packed in here, but you know it's an addiction. We'll grow sooner, more rather than later. But, They Live. Love to know what you guys think. Shout out to my buddy Jeremy. I'll leave his links in there, guys. Check out his video of his pops. It was really cool. He bought stuff today that I didn't even know they had made. So yeah, and Christian Hannah Horror, we will see you guys sooner rather than later. Bye.